Now more than ever, transportation business owners need industry experts at every stage in their company's life cycle. We bring them to you in the hot seat.
Welcome to In the Hot Seat with the Tenney Group. I'm Spencer Tenney, and it's good to be with you. We've got a great show today with Bill Lecos from the National Home Delivery Association. Bill, welcome to the Hot Seat.
Great to be here, Spencer.
All right, we're going to jump in here. Before we heat it up a little bit, let's just take 30 seconds. Tell us who you are and what you're working on over there at the NHDA.
Well, it's my great pleasure to serve the NHDA, the National Home Delivery Association, as the executive director. And we're working on staying warm, so glad to be in the hot seat, given the weather we're all experiencing today. But mostly we're keeping up with the industry, growing the association, and trying to connect our members to everybody's mutual benefit.
Well, I think that's a good start. Let's get rolling here and turn up that heat. So you and I, obviously, we worked together. We've done 3 deals in the last mile space in the last 12 months. Part of that is there's so much activity in interest, opportunity, challenges, and you're right there in the middle of it. So what are you doing right now to serve this final mile, last mile industry segment and the members, the business owners that serve that particular vertical?
Well, Spencer, I think you nailed one of the core environmental factors right now facing the segment, and that's that it's a very, very dynamic environment right now. Dynamic in a good sense. Obviously, the pandemic has had its impact on operations, on different elements within the white glove final mile sector, but we have been blessed as a segment that sales have gone up. People are replacing their appliances, their furniture, they're buying exercise equipment, and all of this has led to real solid growth across the segment. And when you overlay on that the changes that are occurring between the composition of the membership, you're seeing more publicly traded companies, larger companies. You're seeing the traditional independent family-owned businesses continuing to grow. That the need to create a place of coordination, of being able to convene together, of being able to share challenges, to work together on mutual issues, is what the NHDA has been doing since they were formed. And we're not very old, been about 7 years ago, but that's really been accelerated over the last year, and it's creating those points of connectivity that we've focused on.
Well, in addition to the growth in the buzz within the sector, there's also been tremendous growth within the NHDA. Tell us about what's driving some of the growth just within membership and interest within the organization itself in a very, like you said, a very short period of time.
Yeah, well, I keep reminding myself, and to the great credit of the 10 founding members who came together back in 2013, that they started this as friendly competitors. They recognized that there's a unique set of challenges for the heavy goods residential delivery segment, and they worked together. And I was fortunate to come on board about 4 years ago to begin to put the pieces together. And since we started with those 10 members, we've now got 63 companies that belong to NHDA. They're about evenly split between companies that are in the delivery business themselves and managing that process, and companies like the Tenney Group that support that enterprise in one form or another, whether it's insurance companies or law firms or other professional services groups. We've provided the big umbrella for those folks to come together. And frankly, the relationship between those two categories of memberships is really one of the core values of the NHDA. You won't find anybody. I remember Joe Lano, one of our vice presidents, when talking about program, maybe uttered a great quote. Joe said, we are the experts in this business, meaning he and his colleagues, and he's right.
Many of the members share the same customers, major retailers are all across the country. And so for many, it would be counterintuitive to believe, why should I get in a room and lock arms with people, share best practices, work towards initiatives? What have you done to and what have the other leaders within NHTA done to provide that environment, and what would you want others to know about what's happening that would benefit them as they move forward and try to thrive within this industry?
Yeah, well, we use the word friendly competitor a lot, and that's certainly true. Everybody recognizes the sort of unspoken boundaries that NHTA is not the forum where you go out and try to grab a new client at the expense of your fellow member. But that's aside. That comes with every business. And Spencer, I've spent over 35 years running business organizations, trade associations, chambers of commerce. Those are all groups of competitors. But every one of them has the shared characteristic that we have in NHTA, which is there are external challenges that are much bigger than any single member, any single company, and can only be addressed with a shared effort. So pulling together for those shared interests is really what drives NHTA.
So let's isolate one or two of those challenges. What are they? What are the biggest ones that NHTA is facing right now, and what are the members and the leadership within the group doing to combat those?
Well, there's one of the challenges in our area is always in the regulatory environment. This is an industry that relies on the broker carrier model. That model has been under attack from several legislative and regulatory agencies over the last 5 years. Nobody gets together in our business and doesn't mention the word California at some point, but the AB5, the Dynamex cases, the regulatory environment in Washington, everything on employee misclassification can really impose to an individual company an existential threat. So we've been working, participating in some of the legal activities. We have filed comments on behalf of the industry with the Department of Labor. We are engaging in coalitions because we're not alone, and joining other organizations with similar interests in that regulatory agenda. And overall, I think helping to get the information out to our members as to what the current state of affairs is and what they can do operationally to see that they're as protected as can be.
Well, I'll compliment you on that, because definitely the communication is very clear and consistent, and that's a great value that you guys are providing to the industry. So looking ahead towards the future, what's on the horizon? What do you see as the big opportunities, not only for this space, but also within the National Home Delivery Association?
Well, I think my crystal ball's been a little foggy since last March.
What? What?
Couldn't predict everything, but the segment is strong. It's continuing to grow. The larger retail trends are really wind in the sails of the heavy goods residential delivery. More furniture, more appliances, more exercise equipment, more of the things that end up in our folks loading docks and in trucks and going into people's homes are handled by NHDA members. So I think we've got a growth scenario in front of us. That said, there's going to continue to be this dynamic changes within the industry. New players coming in, consolidation is going to occur. I've witnessed in other industries that whenever you have this kind of environment, not only does consolidation occur and drive the industry to new levels, but it also creates new niches that some other people backfill, that new entrepreneurs step into. And, we're seeing those challenges. We're seeing those to be addressed. I think that will be the overall environment for the segment for the foreseeable near term. And I would say, let's never look past 3 years, because, gosh, who knows in this day and age what
Who
that
knows?
But so that's kind of the challenge. Translating that to the NHDA is, I think we have to continue to listen to the members, to be engaged in setting up initiatives that meet their needs, and finding those areas where the collective activity benefits all. If I had to identify two of them, based upon what our leadership has been saying, Spencer, I would say there's definitely a niche that NHDA can fill in providing segment-specific information. Right now, home delivery is a huge bandwidth, and there's a lot of broad brush stroked info out there, but there's very little that is specific to our segment. And I think we can develop those information resources on behalf of the membership. The other area is in professional development. This is an unknown segment. It's a huge part of the retail environment, of the retail economy. There are great careers to be had in this business. So building that recognition, being able to recruit new people to the industry, being able to grow folks within the industry, being able to provide opportunity for all is certainly the kinds of programs that we've had success with, and that I think will be a big part of growing NHDA in the future.
I love that. All right, we got a wild card question coming at you. Wrap this up now. If I'm not mistaken, weren't you a collegiate athlete at some point?
No, I was a collegiate wannabe swimmer, but then I entered my first swimming meet. A guy from the University of Tennessee beat me so bad. It was the only time I was ever congratulated, where the guy in the lane next to me was already in his robe and reaching in. Yeah, it was a very short-lived swimming opportunity at Virginia Tech.
Well, I love that. I know that you're a big Virginia Tech Hokie fan as well. So on that note, who's your all-time favorite Hokie, basketball or football player?
Oh, well, that's a great question. I am a huge Bruce Smith fan.
Ooh.
And, Bruce was there when I was there and sort of changed it. But, hey, coming off the Super Bowl, and Bruce Arians is a Hokie, and Bruce Arians was the starting quarterback when I was a freshman in college. So you got to give hats off right now, at least, to Mr. Arians and his success. So he's a good example of Hokie perseverance, too, which is
yes, he is. He's a character as well.
I like to bring aboard. Well, that may be too. Yes.
Well, listen, Bill, I appreciate you taking out time to sit in the hot seat. I think you handled the heat pretty well, and I look forward to seeing you at an NHDA meeting soon. That's going to do it for us here. Once again, Spencer Tenney from the Tenney Group. We'll see you next time.